Now I'm starting with the paraphrasing of this poem, Fire and Ice. First stanza. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have wasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. So, this existing world will surely come to an end one day. People are divided on this issue. They have two opinions. Some believe that the fires of passion and desire will lead to the end of the world. Man's desires are endless. Our one desire ends, and before one ends, the other desires we have in our mind. So these passions and these endless desires will lead the world to an end. But some people think that this world will end in ice. Cold reasoning and hatred will lead this world to destruction. So, here these two are fire and ice are symbolic. One is for you can say the heat is of the passions and desires of the fire. Fire symbolizes of the passions and desires, and ice symbolizes of hatred, jealousy, and you can say a feeling of not liking each other. So, some people think that this world will end in ice. Cold reasoning and hate will lead this world to destruction. However, the poet has experienced passions of love and desire. He supports those who believe that fire of passions and desires will lead to the destruction of this existing world. So, the poet says that both are equally capable of bringing an end to the world, bringing an end to the mankind on this earth. But the poet says that he himself has tasted the passions of love and desires, so he favors those who believe that who supports those who believe that fire of passion and desires will lead to the destruction of this existing world. Now, stanza 2. But if it had to perish twice, if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. I'm repeating it again, but if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Suffice here means sufficient or enough. Paraphrasing of the second stanza. Fire can bring the destruction of the existing world. But if this existing world has to be destroyed not once but twice, he says that fire can surely bring an end to the world. But if the world has to be destructed completely, not just once but twice, then perhaps ice is strong enough to do this job. The poet has seen the poet has seen and experienced enough of hatred in this world. Cold reasoning, devoid of human feeling, means inhuman feelings, hatred, jealousy. And this cold reasoning is like ice. Ice itself is sufficient enough to cause the destruction of the world. So we again find the poet saying that if it had to perish twice. The first line of the second stanza is, but if it had to perish twice, the word perish means destroy. I think I know enough of it. He says that hatred is sufficient to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. So, fire can bring the destruction of the existing world, but if the existing world has to be destroyed twice, then perhaps ice is strong enough to do this. The poet has seen and experienced enough of hatred in this world, cold reasoning, inhuman behavior, and this cold reasoning he feel is like ice itself and is sufficient enough to cause the destruction of this world. Now, I have completed the paraphrasing. I would like to give a glance on the main points of the poem. Now, the poet feels that this world of ours will come to an end. The poet feels this world of ours will come to an end. He is not very clear when the end will come. He comes to this conclusion on the basis of what people say on this subject. He has 2 points that the world will end either in fire or in ice. He seems to show his agreement on what people say regarding the ending of the world. Either fire or ice or both will be the cause of ending of the world. Then the poet links these two powerful natural elements to human beings and their emotions. In the first stanza, the poet shows his agreement with those who believe that fire will cause the end of the world. He links the element of fire to human emotions of desire or passions. Then uncontrolled fire of passion and desire may lead to the end of the world. Then the poet comes to the second alternative that can cause the end of this world. It is the ice. In the first stanza, he talks about fire, which is symbolic of passions and desires. In the second stanza, he talks about ice. In terms of human emotion, ice means hate created by cold reasoning. So, cold and calculated icy reasoning in human behavior when hatred can cause the end of the world. The poet himself has experienced both these emotions of love as well as hate, fire as well as ice, passions as well as cold reason. He experienced enough of hate, which is born out of icy cold reasoning. In the end, Frost agrees that it doesn't matter whether it is fire or ice, both can cause the end of the world. Icy or hate born out of cold reasoning is quite sufficient for causing the end of the world. So we have completed this poem. It's a short poem with 2 stanzas. Please go through the text very carefully, and for any further doubts or clarification, please revert back.